535 presents Kill the Black One First. Written and read by Michael Fuller. Prologue. I stared at the hostile crowd again. We were now alarmingly outnumbered. Law and order dwarfed by the mob. We didn't want to appear scared, but we were. Around me I saw grim jaws and unsmiling mouths, and I knew a lot of officers were psyching themselves up for a fight. "There's 30,000 of us," they told each other, trying not to feel intimidated because in fact, at this moment, here, now, there were only 30 of us. A few kids were baiting us, shouting things, and a constable stepped forward. From his accent, I could tell that he had been brought up as a member of the ruling classes. It'd be interesting to know what route he took to get here, but there was no time to think about that. He was stepping forward to reason with a group of mouthy troublemakers. I wasn't sure if he was brave or stupid. This was resolved within 30 seconds when they pushed him through a shop window. The rest of us stared in disbelief. Even the lads responsible watched open-mouthed as his body passed straight through the plate glass, as if it were water and he were some sort of toy. But unlike water, the glass shattered into 1,000 pieces. There was a moment's silence. Beyond the sightline, people were still talking and catcalling, but anyone who had witnessed the uniformed copper sailing into a shop without using the door was left speechless. Then, astonishingly, he picked himself up and walked out through the hole he'd made on his way in, apparently unhurt, except for his pride. He must have been hurt. He'd just been assaulted. It was our job to call an ambulance and to arrest the suspects. But we didn't. Instead, incredibly, some cops laughed. Nervous, inappropriate laughter, because they had understood that arresting someone now, when they were heavily outnumbered, could get us into serious trouble, could be the tipping point we all instinctively feared. So while the posh copper, staggering a bit, was led off towards the medics, we were sent to the bus to retrieve our shields. Then gradually, instinctively, without anyone telling us to, we arranged ourselves into a ragged line. The black people we were supposed to cordon, perhaps mirroring our movements, also formed a line of sorts. So now we were facing each other, and before we knew it, we had battle lines, which meant there was probably going to be a battle. The crowd now numbered well over 100, so we must lose. What would this mean? Was this war? Would the toll to the loser be injury? Even death? I felt sick. I was intimidated by the size of the mob. The nearest were about 6 meters away, close enough for me to see the expressions on their faces, and I was shocked by them. We were the police, but they were staring us out as if we were an occupying army. "Babylon, get out of Brixton!" Our shields went up, not in response to the missiles, but like a signal to the crowd to start throwing them. And there were plenty of missiles available. This was a rundown area of South London with building sites everywhere, so it was easy to pile up wood, metal, debris. And then, as if a spotlight had suddenly picked me out, as if all the people were one person, the crowd noticed my black face. "Oi, you! Yes, you! Coconut!" "Coconut?" Coconut said I'm brown on the outside but white on the inside. A traitor to my community. And there was more to follow. I didn't really know exactly what the insults meant, but I knew they were Jamaican slang, and they were especially for me. "Russ Clark, Bumba Clark." So they'd singled me out. There was one of those strange lulls, ominous, the unnerving, unmoving focus of an animal waiting to pounce. Suddenly, a single cry rose from inside the crowd. It wasn't so loud, but it had keen, sharp precision, like a knife cutting through the sound of the angry city. "Kill the black one first!" There was immediately a roar, guttural, like laughter, like fury, the fury of the mob, as they all looked at me. Chapter 1. I was born just before the 1960s began, and for most of that decade I was a country boy.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?